Assalamualaikum. My name is Ms. Musarrat AI Wali. I am a teacher and student at Rehan School, Lahore campus. Today we today my topic is the science behind happiness, how to cultivate joy. Happiness is not just a random feeling, it is deeply connected to our thoughts, habits, relationship and daily choices. Science shows that joy can be cultivated through positive thinking, graduate, meaningful goals, and healthy lifestyle habits. While life always brings challenges, understanding the science behind happiness helps us train our mind to focus on positivity, build emotional strength, and create a more fulfilling life. Now we start our conversation with Maya. Hello, Maya.
Hiya.
Hello.
Hey, how's it going?
My topic is the science behind happiness, how to cultivate joy.
Oh, I love that. It sounds like a perfect Saturday project. Where do you want to start?
What is happiness from a scientific point of view?
Basically, it's a cocktail of chemicals in your brain. Science usually splits it into two buckets: the short term spikes of pleasure and the deeper, long term sense of satisfaction. Does that distinction make sense?
Can happiness be learned or trained?
Absolutely. It's kind of like a muscle you can exercise. There's this whole field called positive psychology that focuses on exactly that: how to intentionally shift your baseline through habits and mindset.
What role does the brain play in happiness?
It's essentially the headquarters. It handles everything from the physical rewards, like those hits of dopamine when you nail a task, to the way your prefrontal cortex processes your experiences. It's wild how much of our mood just comes down to these neural pathways firing in specific patterns.
Why is graduate important for a happiness?
That's an interesting angle. Graduation is usually that big moment of closure and achievement. For a son, it's not just about the diploma, but the feeling of competence and the transition into a new chapter, which hits those reward centers in the brain we were talking about. Have you been thinking about someone in particular?
How does positive thinking improve mental health?
It's less about ignoring the bad stuff and more about how you frame it. When you shift from "this is a disaster" to "this is a challenge I can handle," you're actually lowering your stress response and keeping your brain from staying in a state of alarm. Over time, that just makes you more resilient.
What habits increase long term happiness?
It usually comes down to the things that give your life a sense of meaning, things like deep relationships, contributing to something bigger than yourself, and basically just feeling like you're growing. Like, it's less about the high of a win and more about the steady hum.
How does exercise affect happiness?
It's a massive mood booster. It's basically like a natural pharmacy in your head. You get that rush of endorphins and serotonin that just clears the fog and makes everything feel a bit lighter. Plus, there's that runner's high, which is just a wild way the body rewards you for moving.
Why are social relationships important for joy?
because we're literally wired for connection. There's this huge study that's been running for decades showing that the strongest predictor of long term happiness isn't money or fame, it's the quality of our relationships. When we feel seen and supported, our brain releases oxytocin, which is like the bonding hormone that calms us down and makes us feel safe. Does that resonate with you?
Can money buy happiness? Why or why not?
The short answer is to a point. It handles the stress of survival, like knowing you have a roof over your head and food on the table, which definitely makes it easier to be happy. But once your basic needs are met, the curve flattens. We hit this thing called hedonic adaptation, where we just get used to the new stuff and the fancy car or bigger house becomes the new normal. That's why the wealthy but miserable trope is actually a real thing.
How does sleep influence emotional well being?
I'm not sure I follow you there. Do you mean how claiming a certain identity or belief influences your emotional well being?
Emotional well being.
I think we might have hit a little glitch in the matrix. I'm not quite sure what you mean by that. Want to try phrasing it differently?
What is the connection between stress and happiness?
They're essentially opposites on the same spectrum. Stress triggers cortisol, which is like the brain's alarm system, and it's pretty hard for your reward centers to fire when your body thinks it's in danger. But a tiny bit of stress, like the nerves before a big presentation, can actually keep you sharp and motivated. It's the chronic stuff that really kills the joy. So, we've covered the brain chemistry. No problem. It was great diving.
How does
Wait,
meditation
I think I'm just talking over you.
how does
It's
meditation
basically
improve
like
mental
a
peace?
reset button. I'm sorry, I'm not quite following. Do you mean how to integrate these happiness habits into your daily life?
How does meditation improve mental peace?
It's all about training your brain to stay in the present instead of letting your thoughts spiral into the past or the future. Meditation helps you observe them without getting swept away. It actually shrinks the amygdala, the part of the brain that handles fear and stress, and strengthens the prefrontal cortex, which is the part that keeps you calm and in control.
How does nature affect human happiness?
It's like a total system. Just being around greenery or water slows your heart rate and lowers cortisol. There's this concept called biophilia, the idea that we have an innate biological need to connect with nature. When we step away from screens and concrete, it just quiets the noise in our heads. Ever spend much time outdoors?
Why is self love important for joy?
Because you're the one person you're with every single second of the day. You're constantly critical of yourself. It's like having a roommate in your head who just won't stop complaining. Self love just silences that noise and gives you a stable foundation so your happiness doesn't depend entirely on how other people treat you.
How do negative thoughts reduce happiness?
I think we've got a little bit of a translation glitch here. I'm not entirely sure what you mean by treplessness is. Do you mean how negative thoughts reduce our overall happiness or peace of mind?
How does social media affect happiness level?
It's a bit of a double edged sword. On one hand, it keeps us connected, but on the other, it's a highlight reel. We end up comparing our messy behind the scenes with everyone else's curated best moments, which is a fast track to feeling like you're falling behind. Plus, the constant dopamine loop of likes and notifications keeps our brains in a state of high alert rather than full contentment.
Can happiness be permanent or temporary?
That's a bit of a pivot. In a literal sense, some are built to last for centuries, like those old family owned banks in Europe, while others are just pop companies designed for a specific product or quick flip.
Okay, thank you, Maya. Thank you very much for the session. Thanks. Thank you. Thank you for everyone. Thank you for your time and attention. I truly appreciate your interest is learning about the science behind happiness, how to cultivate joy. May this knowledge help you build a more positive mindset, find inner peace, and enjoy a happier and more meaningful life every day.